guys at any point. Again, Steve, thank you very much for having me here. And just real quickly, you know, the conversation of starting the C-level riders and stuff like that, we go through that a lot with our cycling clubs as well. Everyone wants to always be the fastest guy in the club, and it's very hard to like throttle back and remember what it's like to just be starting out and bring in more people to keep the club growing. So I don't envy that position. It's very hard to get those people, but it's very rewarding once you bring those people along and they find how fun it is. You know, it's something that will help grow the club and ensure the future of your cycling club. So you know, for those who are willing to stick it out and help the beginning riders, I commend you. So I was invited here today to talk about bringing new bicycle riders back into the fold. We're a full-service bike shop. We help bicyclists from all levels of cycling, from someone who's never ridden a bike before, little 3-year-old kids come into the shop, to people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s that haven't been riding for 20, 30 years. They're just getting back into riding. We also have national champion mountain bikers and road racers and everything else that come to our shop. We pride ourselves in giving you very good service and fitting you to the right bicycle. It's very important that you're getting the right bike for the type of riding you want to do. So I brought a few examples of different bikes here, wide variety. I mean, we carry hundreds of different bikes, but I just thought I'd bring a few different bikes just to show you some fun things and some things that are a little more comfortable and some things a little more serious. This is kind of a fun new bike, and I don't know if you've seen some of these in the newspaper and online and stuff. It's called, the family bike, it's called a fat bike. They call it a fat bike because of these big tires. Originally, when they first designed these, it was for racers up in Alaska to ride on the Iditarod trails and stuff like that. But over the last few years, bike companies have started to redesign this idea for people who want something comfortable and safe and easy to ride on bike paths and around town. You can kind of recognize some of the features of the bike look just like your traditional old cruisers. Big sweeping handlebar, so when you're sitting on the bike, you're in an upright position, you're not leaning forward, there's no pressure on your arms or wrists. Big tires. This is a women's or an easy step-through design. There's also a traditional top tube design as well. Hand brakes, very simple, 7-speed. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to shift these bikes. It's just one click at a time to get into easier gears. It's very stable, very comfortable. The big wheels look heavy, but it's just it's not the perception that's true. It's just air that's in these things, so it's not really that heavy, but it does give you a nice Cadillac-like ride. It just, the air pressure is very low. That's how I attribute it. So,
does that bike come in bright colors?
Well, the men's actually are like in black colors, but the rims they'll paint them in brighter colors. They do have some single-speed versions of this too, so it's just one gear. And then we have other brands that are more racy-like as well. So this is just one fun example of the type of bikes that we carry. And also keep in mind for people that are just looking at getting a new bike, besides we have rentals. We actually rent a couple of these bikes as well. The other style of bike we rent is kind of similar to that, but a little sportier, but still that upright position. And being that we're on the bike trail, you can also, if you're just going to take it out for a 15, 20-minute test ride, we invite you to come in and we can set you up with the right size, and you can take some test rides on the bike trail. So you don't have to, most bike shops are stuck in these little parking lots. We've got a nice big 60-mile bike trail that you guys can spin on and really get a good run on the bike. So kind of like the next step up in performance-wise from this style of bike is another style of hybrid. I use the term hybrid because what they've done over the years they've taken a road bicycle that has the tall, skinny wheels, and a mountain bike that has shorter, fatter tires, and kind of blended the two. And what they came up with is a bike that has an upright riding position, sort of like a mountain bike, but even more exaggerated. And the taller wheels, and these bikes come in different sizes. So this is, I think, a large, which probably might be too big for you. So the position, again, is still upright, comfortable. It has these nice ergonomic grips, so they're not digging into your palms. You're sitting upright, you're looking down the road, it's very comfortable. The tires are tall like a road bike, but they have wider treads. So you don't have to fear like getting caught in cracks and pavement and stuff like that. But the benefit of the taller wheel is that it rolls faster. Once you get it rolling, it's easy to keep your speed up. Maintaining a 10, 12 mile an hour average should not be that difficult after a while of practice with the bike. This one also has some other neat features. It has a spring front end, so it softens the bumps of the road. This one has an added feature, you can actually lock that out so it's rigid. The reason you might want to do that is if you like to stand up and pedal or climb hills where you're standing up and pedaling and using your body weight to help pedal, that keeps the front end from bobbing. Otherwise, you can just leave it open and just enjoy the springiness. This has more gears, but again, very easy to shift. While you're pedaling, click into each gear. The old ones, you had the friction shifting, so it was like rattle, 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 and then it'd get quiet. This one, no more. It just click into each gear as you're pedaling.
Is that strictly a pavement bike?
Pavement and crushed stone. And anything you would ride on any of the bike trails in the area, this could handle.
Same thing with the white.
Oh yeah, yeah. Most of the bikes we sell, you could ride on any of the trails that we have around here. None of them are really that rough. The counties and stuff, they take very good care of the trails. Maybe a day after a big storm, you got to watch out for fallen limbs and stuff like that. But they're usually very well maintained. It's been great in the last few years. They've paved big sections, at least of the Fox River Trail, or repaved them, and they're smooth. They're really smooth. It used to be, you feel the bumps a lot more, but now it's really nice. So stepping up from a bike like this, and this is I don't know if you noticed, but it looks kind of funny that the top tube slopes. That's just to give you a little easier to get on and off the bike and give you better standover. So when you come off the bike, there's plenty of clearance. This is a large bike. Raleigh's one of the brands that we carry, and they've been nice enough to us and consumers as well when they walk in the shop. They look on the stickers that show you the size. It actually gives you a kind of a recommended height for the person to ride. This is like for 5'9" to 6 foot, and then there's extra larges for bigger people, and then smaller sizes as well, and then there's ladies' designs that slope down a little bit more too.
I was wondering about the tire, the bigger tires. Are they like help you balance better, or because they're a little bit wider and for some terrains?
I would say it might help your balance a little bit better. I mean, any bigger tire should help. I mean, it's not gonna be a tremendous difference, but actually, at slower speeds, a wider tire, a shorter tire will give you better balance. There are versions of this bike that use a wider, slightly shorter tire as well. It's the Capri series and the Adventure series. Raleigh has, they've got a lot. I could fill the room up with all the hybrids and comfort bikes that they have. If your thing is you want something for better stability, then we could probably show you some other bikes that would do better for that too. But as far as this bike, yes, this would definitely give you some good slow speed stability.
No, I'm going to get the second one.
Okay.
It's too late.
Okay. And just one other, just to show you a little different, kind of the same family of the hybrid. To make it a little sportier, they lighten it up. They put little skinnier tires on it, lighter weight aluminum frame. You lose the front shock. So this gives you most of the attributes of a road bike. If some of you used to ride on road bikes or still ride on road bikes and want something that's a little more upright, a little more comfortable, this will give you some of the same speed as a road bike, but in a flat bar type of position. Again, it comes in a lot of different sizes. They have women's designs as well. And the gearing is almost like a road bike, where the bigger sprockets in the front to maintain higher speeds. And this is another brand that we carry called Scott. Scott and Raleigh and Sun are three main brands that we carry. And there's a few other boutique brands of mountain bikes, on the things we do as well. And some custom framework from Waterford up in Wisconsin. But Scott does a lot of racier style bikes, and this is where they kind of shine, is with their sportier bikes. And they do carbon fiber in their road bikes and mountain bikes and such like that too. So along with your bikes, maybe you have a bike and you just haven't used it in a while, we service bikes. We do everything from basic safety checks for $30 to full tune-ups and full overhauls. We also can just do a la carte things. Maybe you just been sitting in the garage, you bring it to us, we can go through it while you wait, and we can say, oh, it just needs air on the tires and some lube on the chain, and you're good.
Do you take trade-ins?
And we take trade-ins. I mean, I shouldn't say it's across the board. I mean, sometimes if the bike can't be too old. I mean, we like older bikes too. I mean, even if it's like, you know, an old Schwinn from the 60s or 70s, that's fine. It's the ones that were purchased at like department stores, like Huffy's and then those Roadmasters. Unfortunately, those we can't really resell. You want to donate to us, we'll be happy to see if we can do anything with it and donate it on, but it's not like it doesn't have value for us to for a trade-in. But any old Schwinns or Trek Specialized, Raleighs, Scotts, that sort of thing, will have some value for a trade-in. And we'll, especially with a trade-in, we try to give you the max amount we can with that. Straight out, I want to sell this bike, then, you know, sometimes it's not as much.
Can you tell us the three prices of these bikes?
Sure, sure. So the first one, the big fat tire one, this one I think is $4.99. The Route, this is the 4.0. So this is the nicest of the Route series. This is $5.50. There is a Route 3.0 that's just below this, that is at $4.50. And then there is another one called the Detour, which loses the front shock, but that's at, I think, $400. And the Detour is the one we use as rentals as well that you can try out. So some of our hybrids, they probably start in that $350 to $400 range, and go all the way up to $550 to $600. These models, I believe Raleigh just came out with a version like this starting at $400, and the Scotts, I think, start at, well, this one's $699. They can go all the way up to over $1,000. You know, so, you know, they really do go up. But a lot of most of our bikes are in that $400 to $600 range.
How much does that bike weigh?
Probably most of these are around 25 to 30 pounds. They have another version of this with a carbon fork and lighter weight components, and that gets under 25 pounds. Most of your standard road bikes today are under 20 pounds now. They're 16 to 18 pounds, very lightweight. So the hybrids are also coming down in weight as the materials get better and better. And for those who like to mountain bike, there's mountain bikes that start around $350 to $400. A mountain bike looks similar to this, although now it has, you know, much wider tire and has a front suspension fork. Some of them you'll see, and I didn't bring one that has one. They even have disc.
Bring my mountain bike in?
That's okay. That's okay. No, it's all right.
Okay.
They have disc brakes as opposed to the standard cantilever style brakes for a little better, more aggressive stopping power.
Jeff, can I make a comment, maybe ask a question?
Please.
When I first came to Sun City, I bought a mountain bike just to get around, just from here to here. That's all I needed.
Right.
Point A to point B. Maybe did 5, 10 miles, 6 miles, whatever. It wasn't very good when I joined the bike club. I'm out with these guys that have this bike and they're riding
Yep.
at a fair So I traded in for a hybrid. Tires were still too thick for me. Now, as I got better and I could do 25, 30 miles to keep up with these guys, well, I can't anyway today, but I had to move it up to a road bike. So I have a road bike and a hybrid.
Okay.
What would you recommend for people that are beginning and maybe have a bike or maybe are considering trading it in so they can not only have a bike, I see a lot of people here who have a bike, it's only good for one purpose, mountains or
Right.
mountain trails or things. It's very difficult with these wide tires to keep up with a lot of people.
Right.
And they wanted to progress. What would you recommend for them?
Well, that's sort of why I brought some of these bikes
The
here.
middle one?
The middle one to this one, and there, there's a blend of that.
Okay.
Yes, it's a very good point. Mountain bikes are good and comfortable, but they're designed mostly for riding on mountains. The gearing is a little bit smaller, the tires are more aggressive.
There's shocks on them?
And the shocks, and it weighs it down a little bit. It's still a fun bike to get around and hop curbs and feel safe and comfortable about it. But if you're going to be starting to do a little longer rides, keep up with other people that have been riding for a little bit longer, it's best to get a bike that's a little more efficient. Putting all the effort you can put into the bike, you want to see that thing move along as quickly as possible. So, like the second bike I brought out, the Raleigh here, there's variations of this that I think are good transitions from that mountain bike to someone just getting into sport bike. So if we were to define like our typical C-level rider, someone who wants to get out for 5-10 miles and average under, close to 10 miles an hour, this style of bike would be really good for it, or one very similar to it. A B-level rider, probably something more like this, something that you could ride 10, 20, 30, people could ride across the country with this kind of bike, but most of your club riders probably will ride this, if they're a B-level rider. The A-level riders, I imagine, I haven't done any rides with you guys, but maybe they ride mostly road bikes at that point. And I should have brought an example of one of the road bikes, but this was more geared towards entry-level riders. But there are road bikes that have the same sort of sloping top tube, a higher stem. It's not like the old Schwinn's of the old days where you have to ride like a racer. You're more upright. And the hoods are more ergonomic and comfortable, and your shifting is from the handlebars. You don't have to take your hands off to shift or brake. It's really come a long way. And what's funny is lately, road bikes are starting to turn back into hybrids. I don't know if you read some of the biking magazines, but you're now seeing road bikes being able to handle bigger and bigger tires and disc brakes now. So that's a trend that's coming around now, is our road bikes that have the capability of running bigger tires for riding on rougher roads, and if you just want something that's more comfortable and stable. So the other things I was just going to talk about was, please help yourself to some water bottles here. We're running a special for you guys, especially. Typically, we run most of our tune-up specials before the season kicks off, and we kind of considered last week to be our big kickoff. But for Sun City Bike Club, we'll knock off $15 off of our full tune-up, so it's $60. Our full tune-up consists of cleaning the bike, taking the wheels off, adjusting the hubs, truing the wheels, adjusting the brakes and the gears, just going through the whole bike. It's our very comprehensive tune-up. And then also 10% off any repair parts. So if it needs grips or a chain or brake pads or anything like that, discount on that as well. And if it turns out you don't need that full tune-up, we can still discount accordingly the more minimal tune-ups as well.